There we go. Almost there.
Yep.
Yeah, I waited too long. So, all right, guys, welcome. We're at My Muscle Connection, episode number 10. We talk about the cost to win. We say this because, and we're not talking about, what kind of training programs or what you have to eat or what you have to do diet wise or what supplements you may or may not want to take or whatever. What we're talking about is the shit people don't tell you about how, like, for instance, at some point, even if you're regular dieting, there's going to be times where you feel like shit. And a lot of people aren't used to that and they can't handle it. There's some days where people will text me like, hey man, my body aches. I'm like, you got one more day before you get a refeed. You fucking suck it up. They don't know this shit's coming. But it's like, while you're sitting there whining, you've got 10 other people doing the same shit that are hungry as fuck that are going to meet you on stage. But when they initially get these programs, they're not told this shit. They're not told that this stuff comes up and they have to go through it, and they've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to guide them through, like, hey man, these are the days that matter the most when you got to push through, because when you're thinking about quitting, the other guys you're standing on stage with are fucking getting miles ahead of you. You got to fucking knock it off. So that's the type of shit we're talking about, stuff that you don't normally initially think of, even if you're starting a weight loss or bodybuilding or whatever the fuck it is. There's always shit like this that's uncomfortable you got to go through.
And most bodybuilding podcasts, not knocking anybody, everyone's got their thing. They talk about the same shit: weight training, supplements, and drugs. We're talking not really just about. Well, of course, we're talking about weight training, supplements, and stuff, but we're talking about the mental aspects and the fortitude of not just winning in the gym, but really like winning at life. And that's why we call this the mind muscle, because the mind muscle connection needs to be there, not just a metaphor, but in life. And that's why every Thursday this is always exciting to be able to come on here, talk to you guys about what we're doing, how we can make it better. And I think this week's topic of what it takes to really win and going the extra mile is something that's talked about, but I think heavily neglected, especially in today's society. So I'm going to be quoting a lot of Napoleon Hill and Tim Grover, like I normally do. So I like to give them credit. But I've noticed.
Whoa, what the fuck? All right, sorry, go ahead.
I noticed I've been reading their books, and Napoleon Hill and that wrote his book in 1930, Think and Grow Rich, and he talks about going the extra mile and pushing through adversity and pushing through doubts and pains. He does it very politically, though, because the book was written, almost 100 years ago. And Tim Grover says straight up, the road to the road to heaven starts in hell, and in reality, it's the same thing. In order to really get to that top level, we have to take ourselves to hell. That's what we do as bodybuilders, is we bring it into not just the gym, but the dieting, the freaking, the low body fat. And what happens is people just become uncomfortable, not willing to go the extra mile of going when they don't want to go anymore, and they give up. And it's that moment there is to decipher if you're going to get first, second, or going to come in last.
Yeah, there's like we've said before, life seems to put you in check sometimes when you start some kind of journey like this, and you have to know how to get around it. When it talks about mindset, a lot of things can distract that to where you're focusing on the wrong thing. I barely touched on it last week, but I actually had an incident of that this week, where there was somebody had a death in the family, and because of that, now I understand, you grieve, you got it, I get it, but because of that, they got down, they missed meals, and then all later in the week they had a hard time eating because they didn't get that metabolism boost from eating the high carbs on the weekend and stuff, which I usually have people do. And so later on in the week, the guy's like, well, I think I'm still stressed. I was like, no, it's because you were stressed over the weekend, you missed meals. What happened was you started focusing on the stress and you weren't focusing on the diet. And I understand you got shit you went through, but at some point you can't. So what I'm trying to say is, like, the quicker you get back on track, the quicker things go back to normal. And sometimes when a problem happens, people get this snowball effect where they either dwell on it or they get a little bit sad or moody, and then every other little thing that happens gets amplified and amplifies like a snowball going downhill. Next thing you know, they're throwing their hands up and saying fuck it. Where if you would have just got the necessities through like the funeral and shit and went back to eating and training, it would have been behind you in no time.
Yeah, and
that.
what makes the decision of quitting or not quitting is, like we've talked about, your definite major purpose. You know, if you have your eyes set and focus on that goal, you know, the work is not going to matter because you're going to willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to get to that goal, to get to the end results. So often I think what happens is when setbacks happen for the average regular person is they use that as their way out. And winning doesn't care about your excuses because everybody's going to have an excuse. Every single person has an excuse not to do something, but you also have a reason to do something as well. And the way you do that is to have that major purpose in front of you saying, I'm going to get to this goal no matter what. And I believe that people who do have that, your thoughts become things, right? As Kai Green said, and as Earl Nightingale says, your thoughts become things. What you think about, you actually become. So if you're thinking about the stress and you're thinking about how much this diet sucks, you ain't gonna fucking make it because you're just reaffirming the fucking beliefs and bad shit that's coming. I think competitors too. So think about this for a second. I actually was thinking about this today about, you know, when we were talking about it. And you ever see those competitors who have done nationals 15 times and they just can't ever win their pro card?
Trey Brewer,
you know?
Yeah, he's one of them.
they're always, hey, I'm doing this national show. Yeah, man, doing our Olympia. Are they going there with the intention to win? Are they going there planning to win? Or are they going there just to do nationals? What do you think?
I don't know. If some people get in a rhythm and sometimes they don't want to change, they know what got them to that point works, but they'll be afraid to put something on top of that or maybe even push harder. And that doesn't get them to the next level. Like there's people out there, they'll do the same routine over and over. They'll never get bigger, never get leaner, but they'll keep competing because they think, you know, oh, well, things just didn't line up right. It's like, no, dude, you got to push harder. It sucks. Like you think you pushed hard now, cool. But if you want to make it to the next level, you've got to do more. That's just all there fucking is to it. And people will try to find excuses around that.
I like to go, I'm changing my mentality. You know, I'm not saying I'm changing. I'm hardening my mentalities. I'm expecting to win. I'm going to the show. I win. You're going to be like, hey, all right, I won. But I'm going there with the attitude I'm going there to win. And I don't think one time Kobe, Jordan, Arnold, right? I'm talking about the greats of the great. Arnold, Ronnie Coleman. I think when they won, they were going there expecting to win and they won. It was like, all right, there was no, oh my God, I can't believe it. I won 5 times. You're like, hey, I went there to win. I think that mentality is maybe egotistical, but what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
You can't just say it. People will just say it, but you can tell they get timid and shit. Like you have to fucking believe that shit.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, I wouldn't do it to the point where I got cocky. Like usually but I think going in there wanting to win or knowing you're going to win or, you know, going to bed every night, like daydreaming of you giving that speech or getting that trip, there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have those aspirations and you're going there to finish 3rd or 4th, I would tell you straight up, just hang it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because if that's what you're thinking, then how do I know you're following everything I'm giving you? How do you know you're following the program when I'm not there up your ass? Like if you're going, oh yeah, I want to finish 5th. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm not busting my ass so that you can finish 5th. What if you know you're going to get 5th and you don't want to push any harder and I'm sitting there trying to fucking get you to go and you won't go? I'm going to tell you a pack of shit. So that's not the mentality. Like I'll give you a fucking example is when people haven't competed before and they say, well, I just want the experience. I'm like, well, you don't want it to be a shitty experience. You need to change that mindset. So I'm like, you want the experience. You can go eat some fucking ho-hos and shit and get on stage and you can tell me how that went for you. But you are now an athlete. You're going to fucking act like it. I don't like people coming to me saying that shit.
Yeah, and I think that mentality goes through not just bodybuilding, but salesmanship too. I think salesmen know they're going to make these fucking sales today with that attitude. I'm making this amount of sales, and though that made up mind, that attitude, I think is reflected out to the world, reflected back. I think that's why Jordan was so great That's why Kobe. I think why Arnold was so great. Is he, watching Pump and Iron now, he was like, "Yep, I'm winning this year." Hey, I called my mom up. I told her I won. Remember that? He's like, "Yeah," and she said, "Congratulations." He would fuck with everyone's head because he believed and he knew. When I got my pro card, I remember saying, I'm like, I'm not doing the show. Like, hey, you doing the Paradise Cup? Or, hey, are you going to do the Sean Ray next year? I was like, I can't. Why? I'm going to be a pro. They're like, what? Like, how do you know you're going to win? I'm going there to win. Like, I don't know if I'm going to win, but I'm going there to win. Odds are you're probably not. Like if you really think about it, with all the amount of competitors, odds are you're probably not going to win. But I'll bet on my fucking self.
If you're already thinking about the next amateur show when you're going to a pro qualifier, then you've already lost.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the mindset you want. And shit, what was I gonna say? Son of a bitch. Well, I will say this before I forget. The guy I'm talking about that had the family issue, when I talked to him today, he had already understood what was going on. He was like literally forcing the food down just so he can make it to the next high carb day. So the tablets came out. So like he didn't quit. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he realized what happened is shit. And he's like, got back, like he bounced back fucking fast. And this is a guy that could potentially get on stage and like crush people. Like, so I told him, like, dude, listen, I know shit happened, but like, you got to get back on track because you're not like an ordinary fucking person. Like you want to compete and stuff. You keep talking like, well, I think I got what it takes. So learn how to fucking do this shit now. Because literally, I've had people that have had deaths in the family and they've not missed a fucking beat. Like they'll schedule the funeral and shit so that they can eat and then go do fucking training and shit. Like I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been there. So I'm not saying that. Actually, I'll tell you, for a guy that's never done a contest prep or has never really had a coach or anything, he fucking got through it really well. And what he didn't get through, he learned from this experience, which is something I wrote down going into is like, we talk about changing how you shift your mental, shift your thinking. And this is something I try to do a lot more because I used to be one of those, I'm the victim, snowball rolling downhill, is you got to find the silver lining in everything. Everything happens for a reason. Something fucks up. You got to, okay, what can I get out of this as positive? What good comes out of this? How can I turn this around? That's how you have to think. You can't think, you can't think in the negative and just get deeper in the fucking hole.
Yeah, some people are too busy looking at the hole and the donut, but they don't look at the donut around the hole. And I had that happen to me. I had the funeral thing actually happen to me right after I won my pro card. I was trying to stop the rebound from happening, and my aunt passed away. And I'm at her funeral. I'm almost like, fuck, I'm over here bringing my food with me, and before everyone's going into the funeral, I'm like, hold on a second, let me finish this meal. I'm over here going back and forth to the car just to go eat in between fucking sessions. And hey, it's a very selfish lifestyle, but there ain't nothing wrong with being selfish. Winning is selfish. Winning is very selfish.
Dude, if my dad croaks, if he fucking dies, and I sit there and I say, fuck, this sucks, poor me, and I throw away all of everything, and I go and I'm in a corner and cry about it for a fucking month, he will come back from the dead and kick my fucking ass. And because that's how, like, my family's really been taught about it, is like, get everything arranged, get through it, move the fuck on. Don't be sitting here and wasting your life mourning because my life was over. My time's done. Quit bitching. Don't let it get in the way of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I would rather, I tell you, anybody in my family would rather be me going out to the car and eating and training and shit and doing what I got to do to get around it rather than just saying fuck this and being sad about it. They don't want that. Nobody wants that for their fucking kids or family when they die.
Yeah.
So people have to remember that. It's, I think people like, and I say, I've had this incident a lot with clients. I tell them, I'm like, do you think they want you to sit there and start getting behind on your goals and stuff because they died? Like, how guilty would that make them feel?
Not just that, but even in life. Sometimes, I think real parents would be happy for their kids or their children, chasing their dreams and their goals. When, I go sometimes months, I talk to my parents occasionally, but there's weeks that go by and I'm, hey, I'm working, I'm in the gym, I'm dieting, I have to do this. And, they get it. Any real friend would get that too. Yeah. I see somebody win. Great. Awesome. He's working towards something. He wins something. I got a buddy of mine who's a doctor. So, when he's over here doing surgeries, it's like, fuck yeah, dude, you're doing your thing. And then when they do something really astounding, then, you give them the phone call or whatever. But when your family, your friends, people sometimes put that shit as a priority over their own goals and dreams. And winning does not care about your friends and stuff like that. Because it wants to know who winning wants to know who cares about me.
Yeah. Now, here's something I thought about today, and I want to ask you about it. I can't remember who I was talking to about this today or yesterday, but I don't want everybody getting butthurt about this shit, but I see it all the fucking time. Somebody will go through a prep or lose weight, and they'll do like some 12-week prep and get on stage, and then all of a sudden they start posting all these pictures of motivational quotes like follow your dreams, follow your vision. You're like, are you done? Like, you just did one local show and maybe placed top 2 or 3 if you did that, and you're talking about giving all this advice and stuff on how to win, and like you're fucking done already. Like, I have people that don't compete that have been through more shit than that have been at the point where they're told they're not going to fucking walk, and they've gotten through it and lost weight, and they're getting. Actually, I'm going to bring her on one-on-one with me some point on this channel for an interview because of her story. And I mean, I think I was talking to her about it. I was like, you haven't even got on stage yet. You've already been through hell and been through a lot more than some of these people that did their first contest. And, so when I start seeing these, seeing these little quotes and shit with their pictures, and I'm like, dude, you've done this like once or twice and you've never gotten outside the regional level. It's like either you're bullshitting or your vision ends at the regional level and you're done. You're going to hang it up at your fucking late 20s. How do you personally think about shit like that?
I had this conversation with somebody 6 years ago. There was I was a bikini girl where I was at the Frigno Legacy and was watching the bikini. And the girl that came in last was dancing around, smiling, happy, and she was chubby. So the girl next to me goes, I don't understand why she's celebrating and happy. She came in last and she looks like shit. I looked over, I says, well, how do you know she's not a fucking cancer victim, or she was in a my 600 pound life, and this is the lowest she got. This is the best she's ever looked. I was like, we don't know that person's story, but we just know that this is what she wanted. If it was to do this and finish this, and that's what her goal was. Hey, everyone's chase is fucking different, man. If that one guy, his goal was to maybe I don't know. I see that person posting motivational shit. How do you know that motherfucker wasn't homeless? How do we know that he was just broke, somehow saved the money? Maybe there was something that did happen to him and he made it through. Maybe it was just what you said. He was just some guy and that was the toughest thing he ever did. I don't know their chase. But if there was just to do a show and that was their thing, they want to quit late 20s, I can't knock that. And I had a client myself. She wanted to do a show, see if it was for her. She did it. She did everything I told her to. She posted her pictures and she was happy. Came in dead last. But she says, bodybuilding's not for me, man. I'm going to powerlifting. I said,
at least she knows.
Hey, you're happy. You started something, you finished it. That's what I really aim for, is at least you finish strong. So I see a guy posted, and I maybe look at him like, hey, you did your show, you're done. That's maybe all they want. I won't knock that. That was your challenge. That's your chase. That was your win, and that win will take you somewhere else.
I hope that if it was somebody that was homeless or down in the dumps and got to go on stage, that they would put something about that in their vision post so we would know where they came from. And sometimes the way some of these people post it, it's like they just did a contest and like they talk like they're going to keep going. Like that's it. With my mentality, I'm like, fuck, if I win this, let's do more. But I know not everybody thinks like me. You brought up a good point. I didn't realize that. But I mean, I would hope that there would be something in there to where I see the post, I would know that. And I will say, if you do complete a show from start to finish, you're already in a smaller percentage of people that you were beforehand, because not everybody can even make it that far.
Millions of people will never be able to get on. So you're doing something that a million people will never be able to do. People ask me too, when they found out that I wrote a book. I'll post about it every now and then, or somebody will tag me in my book. They're like, dude, you wrote a book? I was like, yeah. They're like, why didn't you tell me about it? I was like, for me, it was just, I wanted to write a book. I wrote a book, published it, done, next. It wasn't like this big, oh my fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still walking around. I'm trying to get people to review it now because I got one star on it, which kind of pissed me off. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out who the fucking asshole is. Breon Ansley or somebody, like this fucking dickhead. But For some people, it's just about done next. Hey, did my show, cool. I'll move on to the next thing. You know, what is your next chase? But eventually, bodybuilding is an end for us, man. You know, there's gonna be a day you ain't going on stage no more. There's gonna be a day that I'm not gonna be on stage anymore, and you got to start thinking about what's your next chase. Otherwise, dude, you see people go crazy. I've seen people go hospitalized. I've seen people almost kill themselves. I've seen my buddy, unfortunately, rest his soul, Mario, killed himself after the North Americans 2017. Right, he did Team U with me. Right, he got 9th. And then 3 weeks later, or maybe about a month, I can't remember the timeline. It was between Team U and North Americans. He did North Americans, came last. I was out to sea. I came back. I hit him up about some Dave Palumbo video, right? And no response. Friggin' girlfriend hit me up and said, yeah, Mario's dead. Because all he had in his life was bodybuilding. He didn't care about anything else. All he cared about was bodybuilding. And instead of accepting the loss, learning it, moving on, he overdosed on something. I still don't know exactly how he killed himself. His girlfriend won't tell me. But yeah, that was it, gone. Because all he cared about is all he had in his life. And, you know, it's important. Bodybuilding is so important because we love it. It's our passion. But there are other aspects to life. There are going to be other things outside of this when it's over. And we all need to accept that.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think I'm old enough to. I don't think I'm at the point to accept that yet, because I still have this. I haven't left my mark. I haven't finished what I'm trying to do. I mean, I know if it. Nah, I mean, it at some point it'll hit me. I'm like, all right, I need to move on to something else. But like today's not that day, and I don't need to think about. I don't want to think about when will that day come because I'm already heading in the wrong direction mentally. Right now, I am. Not to gloat, but I am mentally and focused. I'm getting more in positive direction every day. So I'm getting that back that when I used to be in high school would just do stupid shit just to see if I could fucking grow and stuff that was just retarded just to do it training wise and eating wise and trying stuff. Like I'm getting that back. I don't know what it is that's firing it up. Maybe it's because we sit here and talk about it every week. Maybe it's because I started reading these fucking books. But I'm like, okay, I'm ready. It's time. I've always questioned, even when I was doing really good when I first started training people, and I was like, you know, am I ready to do this to get to the elite level yet? Can I handle that? Now I'm just like, fucking, let's go. Like I'll even if I'm not ready, I'm going in anyway. So my mental aspect of it is a lot better, and because of that, I see more opportunities showing up. So it's only a matter of very short time before I make my mark on this island and then head on to do it somewhere else. Like I know that for a fact.
I'm looking forward to, you know, representing Hawaii out there. I mean, I'm going out with the expectation to win, like I said. So my training itself is going to be with that expectation, expecting to win, makes my training so much more intense. I think I'm driving Mike up a wall right now. My coach, Mike Kawasaki, I think I'm driving him up a wall because all this question. I'm at the point we're 19 weeks. We just hit 19 weeks on Saturday. We'll be hitting. And I'm like, is this okay to do now? Is this all right to eat? Should I do more cardio? Am I lifting heavy enough? Is this a great workout? But you know, everybody who's seeking that unforgiving, you know, chase to greatness is going to be, you know, be hassling their coach for everything. And I think you're not bothering your coach. At the end of the day, we joke around about bothering them, but I don't think you're probably pissed off any of the athletes asking you questions because, you know, when I was coaching, I said, ask me all the questions you want and I will get back to you at 6:30. So from 6 to 7 o'clock at night, I would just answer all the questions and, you know, they would have their answers. So it's never a bother to your coach. You know, we want to be part of the journey. We want you, if you have questions, do the right shit than the wrong shit. So ask questions. Kobe did it at 3 a.m. when we messaged Tim Grover. Hey man, you know, I got this workout idea. Like, dude, it's 3 a.m. and you know, Kobe Bryant was scoring baskets. So that's some real shit.
That's funny you bring that up because I always tell people, I learned this from training a guy. He was in the Marines on base when I was at NICTAM. So we were on the same base. We know each other for a long time. Both been on island together ever since. And he was also a trainer, but he didn't want to stress out with doing his own shit. So he was like, hey, I trust you. So you do my shit. We'll get ready to compete. So he was a guy that would tell me every fucking thing he noticed that different. And, and even though I got annoyed sometimes, I'd be like, just keep telling me, because I'd rather you tell me too much than not tell me enough, because 3 weeks down the road, I'll be like, fuck, man, he told me something 3 weeks ago, and that's probably why this is happening today. So I need to go back and address this. And I was like, and if you were too timid to talk, we would never unfuck this shit. So if people are like, but what if you're asleep? Like, I'm not in the military anymore. I can turn my phone off when I go to sleep. So I'll see it when I get up in the morning. Speaking of, on a tangent, the first day I got out of the military, I turned my goddamn phone off for like a day and fucking slept. That was so awesome. You should try that. But it doesn't bother me. I tell them to message me everything, because even if you think it's insignificant, you might think it's insignificant because you haven't been this long enough to know what to look for. And I have some clients who've been training for years that know exactly what to tell me. And it's like, I feel like I don't even mess with them much because they know what to tell me, when to tell me, and it flows so smooth. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way, like always just text me everything and I'll cipher through and figure out the important shit later. That's my job. That shows that you're fucking serious about this shit and you're really not wanting to fuck anything up. So you're already more determined than a lot of people. So that's fine. I'll deal with you blowing my phone up. I'll get over it.
I actually got hypnosis done to me a couple of days ago.
How was that?
I was with Akira's coach, it's both of our teachers, but the guy that trained me and Akira, Ross Jeffries. It was an hour-long session with him, really focusing in on really getting deep hypnotic, like almost like kind of like saying what Akira was saying, like, pretending you're Thanos and, using the gauntlet and, get into your superhero pose and then going on stage. But Ross said we're going to take it up another level. He says he wants me to actually imagine myself, and I have to see the judges. He says, before you go on stage, see the judges, know what they look like, and imagine being in the eyes of the judges going, wow, look at that symmetry. Those are the best legs I think I've seen on stage. Yeah, that guy's the winner. It's not even a question. This guy's the winner. And when you go on stage and you actually start posing, the vibe is going to be sent out. And the energy is going to be sent out.
And you're not going to get nervous when they're looking at you either.
You're not going to get nervous because you already know what they're thinking. So you're sending out that energy and vibe. So he set it up. There was also another exercise you did when I talk about offline, because I don't want to give away all his secrets, because this is really, really expensive stuff. But yeah, being able to work one-on-one with like a master hypnotist, because I think that we push ourselves, and I take myself to hell, but I feel like there's always a little bit more in the tank. Even when there's something's out of the tank, like remember Tom Platz was saying is that when you're absolutely done, nothing left, you got 5 more reps. Yeah. I believe that. I really do believe that once you're absolutely done, you can't go anymore. You can still do 5 more. So how do I execute that mentality to just get those 5 more reps in? So, that's what I'm working on now. One thing I really think about when it comes to going to hell is the movie 8 Mile, man. You've seen 8 Mile?
I have not seen that yet. I should have.
That movie is 20 something years old.
I know.
21 years old.
It's old. Yeah. I remember when it came out. I never watched it.
We have to actually, you got to watch that. And we have to have a movie review. It's one of my favorite movies. And I'm talking a lot with our Tim Grover down and dirty team about that movie, because, Eminem goes into such dark fucking places and he has to go through fucking hell just to get the confidence to go battle the final battle. So when we sit here, we talk about, like, if for those that have seen the movie 8 Mile, remember, what Eminem went through. He had his, not to give too much of the movie away, it was 23 years, so it's fucking too late for you anyway, but, not ruin the movie. It's 23 years later. He had his friend fuck his girl. You know what I mean? He just got screwed over by a fucking record company. He just got embarrassed in front of all these people, completely at fucking rock bottom. And his answer was, I'm going to go rap battle these guys and fucking beat them. That's the type of attitude that is going to have you winning contests. You're tired. You fucking spend every fucking penny on organic food because organic's better for you. You got your car's breaking down. You're fixing that. Everything's going to go against you. That's when the magic happens. And everybody, it's happened to everybody. All the greats, every one of them that I have gotten to know has sucked, at some point, and shit has gotten in their fucking way. All of them, every single one. And that's a good feeling knowing that, because sometimes you go, why does this happen to me? Fuck, always hear, why does this happen to me? All the greats, this shit's happened to.
Yeah. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier, how you deal with it, what you pull from it is what's going to make a difference. Like if you focus on all the negative shit and play the poor me, it's just going to get worse. But you find a way, find a silver lining or something in there, then you can move forward.
Yep. You know, find the silver lining.
When you're trying to push yourself or going the extra miles, when you say that, I always think of the first Rocky. We talked about going the distance with Apollo Creed. Like that's all. He's not even trying to fucking win. He's just trying to go the max amount of rounds and show that he can hang it. Why do you think people are okay with being? We've talked about it some before, but when people get into a program, they get into bodybuilding, it has to occur to them that at some point they got to exceed normal. They got to go an extra mile. They got to push harder or something. You know, I see some people that get into it, and I don't think they realize, like, you're going to have to go somewhere you haven't gone before. You're going to have to do something you haven't did. I mean, like Phil Heath said in Pump and Iron, like, if you want something you haven't had before, you got to do something you've never done before. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, you start taking that person from a trainer's point, you start taking them to that place, and you really find out if they're down for this or not.
It's like in the movie Joker. It's like the movie Batman. Remember when the Joker's like, he's like, it's in a man's final reps. When you find out who he doesn't say reps. He goes, in man's final moments. But they say it's in man's final reps. You find out who they really are. Yeah. You know, when everybody wants to do leg day, everybody talks about training, working out until it's leg day time. And all of a sudden, nobody wants to train legs no more. Everybody has a reason to not work out or not push himself, or their knees hurt, and all their badasses are just go straight down the fucking tubes. All of it. That's you're gonna see who the real. I think a quad workout is how you figure out who the fucking toughest one is. That's just my opinion.
We had not too long ago, we were at IHF and we had done our whole workout, and I was just like, man, there's something we got to do to end this shit off right, because I ain't got nowhere to be for a while. We got time. We got plenty of people. Like, what can we do? So we started doing ladder sets with the hack squat. So we do a few sets of like 8 to 10, and then we say, okay, we're going to start with 2 plates. Every 6 to 8 reps, we're going to throw on a plate. Once you can't do any more, we start working back down, and that's one ladder set. We're going to do 2 of those. This guy on the leg press next to us, I got to hand it to him. He's over there watching us, and he's seeing guys like fucking get sweaty and fucking screaming and shit. And he's like, hey, can I give that a shot? And we're like, fuck yeah, dude. Come on. Yeah, come on. Yeah, you want to get in this shit? Go right the fuck ahead. And he fucking did 2 sets with us. He was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty intense. We're like, yeah, that's why we do it. But you don't see that a lot. You don't see people that see shit that's hard to do and like, hey, man, can I give that a shot? Usually people stare and they want to be in awe and everything, but you tell them to jump in and be like, oh, I did my leg workout yesterday, bro. I'm good. This dude was doing his leg workout and jumped in and did our shit and then went back to finishing his shit.
I asked Steve Cook when he was out here. Steve Cook and his buddy.
Yeah.
You want to train legs with me at Powerhouse? He's like, oh, yeah. All right, Friday. Thursday was, yeah, we did it yesterday at a UFC gym. I was waiting to train with me, man. Like, why not? Because I was going to make him throw up. That's why.
Yeah.
Some motherfuckers telling you to come train legs with me. You know, that's like saying like they know karate or something. You know, they know some shit. They're ready to bring it. So you ain't ready to bring it. You ain't ready to bring it. But I've seen some high level athletes too, just fucking die out during, you know, intensity. You know, their talents can only take you so far, man. You know, your talent and genetics only going to take you so far. At some point, you're going to have to fucking grind. But know what you're grinding for. You know, if you're grinding and you're just grinding and grinding, you just create dust. You know, you have to know what it is that you're grinding for. That's what's important. What it is that you're training for, what it is that you want. Because that's what makes you get through these workouts. That's what makes going that, you know, getting through hell okay. If you don't know what it is what you're doing, you're just going to fucking quit.
Yeah, that is a good point. You do have to know what you're doing when you're in there. And that's why the first few weeks I'm really picky about form and what muscles they're targeting. And because a lot of people have been in the gym for years and they still have no clue what the fuck they're doing. And they get in that where like, well, if this won't work, I'm going to quit. And then you start showing them, hey, this is what this is supposed to do. That's a tricep. That's what that feels like. So when you do any of these exercises, that's what you're looking for. And all of a sudden, it's like they're into this whole new thing. Like, oh, man, I didn't even realize. It's like, yeah, it's different. Now you know what the fuck you're going for when you walk into the gym that day. It changes your whole perspective. Now you have a goal. You're hunting for a certain feeling and a certain muscle, and you know what exercises you can try out to get that. Now it's like it's a challenge every time you walk in because you know the end result now. Used to people just throw shit around and not even realize why they're not changing. It's like, you know, oh yeah, I've done chest a million times. All right, well, come do it with me. I guarantee you halfway through, you're going to fucking burn out because I'm going to show you how to use nothing but those fucking pecs of yours you keep boasting about.
It's fucking genetics, bro, man. That's how fucking God made me, bro. You know, I can't, you know, but, you know, blame God, blame Charles Darwin, blame fucking global warming, anything but yourself. Yeah. Blame anything, you know, I can't help it because I got like a high tricep here. You know what I mean? Like the way, you know, I got high tricep insertions. So they're actually like bigger than yours. You know what I mean? So for every 1 pound you get, I actually get 3 pounds out of it. You know what I mean? So I'm smaller, but I'm actually bigger. That's the type of shit that's the type of shit you deal with in the fucking Navy. As a Navy warship. Yeah, I just got small calves, bro. My great uncle, he had fucking small calves too. You know what I mean? I do calves. He actually trained with Arnold, and he told Arnold that, you know, you can't have calves if you're, you know, part Scandinavian. Like, what are you talking about?
Did somebody really say that?
Dude, I get shit like that all the time. The guy came up to me, was like, calves are genetic. I go, well, yeah, if you're genetically a bitch, sure, yeah, absolutely. That was the last I talked to him. If you're genetically a bitch, sure, yeah.
I've had guys grow calves, and I've had black guys grow calves, and it was fucking simple. It wasn't anything crazy we did for them. I just said, do standing leg curls, seated leg curls twice a week. 1 week do sets of 10, the other time a week do sets of 20. That's it. And they fucking grew. I mean, it was like the simplest thing I'd ever come up with. I pulled out of my ass.
They just take time to grow. You know, that's the thing. I'd be really patient with calves. You know, they take a lot of time.
You got to get a full stretch. John Meadows preaches this shit. These people that put on 40 plates and barely fucking going like you do, because it's called range of fucking motion, dude. You got to stretch that shit out.
I got 1 1/4 plate. That is all that I do for my calves. Stretch, squeeze.
Guys ain't used to that shit, man. Or if you can do that with like 5 reps with heavy weight, but if you can keep the good form, that's the only time my calves get sore. If I go heavy, but I do the full range of motion, get like 5 reps and go really slow, those motherfuckers are hurting the next day.
Here's one. 10 sets of 10 on the stairs. So as you walk up the stairs, do 10 reps. Well, next step, 10 sets for 3 sets. That is 300 reps. Yeah, total. That there, you ain't gonna be walking the next day.
Goddamn steps up to the training office. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Things suck. I tried that a couple of times, and I was like, oh yeah, this is harder than it looks. And then Mike goes up and just eats his food while he's waiting for everybody to get up there.
Yeah.
Shit. What are some of the other things that people learn from going? I mean, I think we touched some of this before, but you know, you think about taking yourself to hell and trying to get through that. You know, people will say, well, you know, I'm doing all this shit for a bodybuilding contest. No, dude, you're getting so much more out of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, man. This is the one thing that can change your perspective on life, like for fucking ever. Because this is like, dude, everybody talks about bodybuilding and shit, but you only see a very small percentage of people that are on those top stages. There's a fucking reason for that. If you get halfway through it, you're going to fucking learn something to take with you.
You've got to be a little crazy, man. You know, we're crazy people. I get asked, how much money do you make for your shows? I'm like, I haven't made a dime. I have not made 1 penny competing in bodybuilding. Like, that's crazy. I go, yeah, that is crazy. And, you know, everybody has their crazy, but I'm addicted to fucking winning. I'm addicted to it. It can be a simple win. That's just that simple little win. I get addicted. And every little win seems to build off each other. And I look at everything else that I got out of it. Like, if my room is clean, my laundries are always done. My money, I'm great with money, balancing my budget, because you have to have all of those fucking things taken care of in order to be a bodybuilder. Because one little thing goes wrong, you know, it sets you back. If you don't prep your food and don't cook your food a couple days in advance, Well, now it's Wednesday, boom, you're out of food. Now you got to stay up all night. You got to be out, you're up cooking. Now you're going to take away from your sleep. If your laundry's not done, now you don't have gym clothes. If your car's not being maintained, it breaks down, you just dropped a shit ton of money on fucking car repairs. So every little detail, every little aspect in your life matters when it comes to bodybuilding. Every little fucking thing. The little bit of shit that's stressing you out is going to affect your physique. Stress is the number one, I think, physique destroyer out there. People stressing out the day before a show, their whole physique is gone. 16 weeks down the drain.
This is why they should focus on the food and shit. Quit focusing on the stress. People get stressed out about shit. And like we said at the beginning of this episode, the snowball starts going running downhill. Like if you spent that time cooking your next fucking meal, you'd have forgotten about that shit.
Yeah.
Even when I get mad at dumbass shit, like I was talking about earlier, before we came on live, I was like, dude, I just go back to training people and fucking block it out. And within a half a day, I'm not even fucking worried about it anymore. Because you got to distract yourself and distract yourself with your fucking goals. I mean, that's not such a goddamn bad thing.
And you appreciate the journey more. Like, are you happier on the way to vacation or on the way coming back from vacation?
Two.
Right? You're happy on the way to vacation. Or do you enjoy your day off, or do you enjoy the night before a day off? You enjoy the night before the day off.
That's a good point.
Right? When Christmas Day, do you enjoy going to open your gifts, or do you enjoy opening your gifts and that's it? You enjoy you know what I mean? Like, people think that they're going to be happy at the prize, like winning doesn't necessarily relate to happiness. Success doesn't relate to happiness. I'd rather be a miserable winner than a happy loser any day of the week. I'd rather win a championship, go through fucking hell, tired, spend all my money, and come out on top than I'm going to play it safe. Just going to I'm going to try my best, see what happens, and then come in last and go, oh, I did my best. No. And nobody fucking gets that. Nobody gets that fucking feeling. Like, hey, did you try your best? No, I did my best. There's a big difference in trying your best and doing your best.
I don't like when people say try. Well, I'll try to know you're going to do it. Like, trying means you're going to fail. I mean, it's just
try means you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
It means you're allowing yourself to.
Yoda had that shit right 30 years ago. We never knew.
Enjoy the journey, man. Enjoy the fucking journey to your fucking championship.
The one thing I'll say, talking about shit that we got from this and whatever. I was debating on this year as far as competing, and I have a bad habit for saying, okay, I'll get ready for this, but there's one after it if I don't make it in time. And because of that, I never make it in time. This has happened a couple of years.
Yep.
So I'm thinking about it a couple of days ago. I'm like, man, realistically, could I do this? And then I start thinking back. I'm like, fuck, I've done more than this before. Because there's been times where there was one time I was fucking around with a Palumbo style keto diet. I dropped like 30 pounds in 6 weeks. I remember Mike was like, you do 2 or 3 more weeks of that, you're fucking gold. And in fact, when I post the replay of this, I'll put the pictures up because it was fucking mind blowing. Probably the fastest changes I'd ever made. Maybe he lost a little bit of muscle, but for losing body fat was fucking insane. So I think I was telling somebody that story, and I was like, fuck, if I did that, why in the fuck am I worried about 18, 19, 20 weeks out? Yeah. This should be a goddamn cakewalk. And I'm not going to feel any worse than I did during those 6 weeks because I wanted to fucking die. And I still did all my work. I trained all my clients. I did all my shit. I never lost a goddamn step. So I'm thinking, fuck, I've done this before. What am I worried about? Shit. And so that's something you guys can take. Like when you've been through some hard shit, whether you needed to or not, just putting yourself through it. It makes in the future, you're like, fuck, man, I've done this before. It's no big deal.
Hey, it's no longer there's only a small area in your life. And I got so much shit kicked back to me for saying this, but I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say it again. I said this 2 years ago on another interview I was on, where you only have this much time really in your life to fucking be something great. People are like, well, I got my whole life. I can do something great. Every decision I make. Look, Ronnie Coleman is not coming back out to win the Olympia. Mike Tyson's not coming out to fucking win another boxing championship. You are to really be great. You only have this much fucking window, maybe 15 years, 20 years, depending on, so there are some people who did, at 43 come win the Olympia. 43 is still a good bodybuilding age, but sure, you ain't coming back at 50. You ain't coming back at, sure as fuck ain't coming back at 60. So, now really is the time. And you still have your 40s, your 50s, your 60s to do fun shit. Go exploring, see the world, relax. But you really want to be something great, man, something memorable. You have a small fucking time. That's the way I look at it. I want to be looked at 10 years from now. People in Hawaii, people over here be like, man, remember fucking Dibz, dude? That guy had the craziest leg workouts, man. That guy's little leg workouts were fucking great. Yeah, he was an Olympian bodybuilder. He went to the stage and his legs just blew out everybody. That's how I want to be remembered. That's how I want my legacy to be. And I'm building that legacy. And if I just said, well, I got my whole life, it ain't going to happen. Now, you have to do it now.
Back to what I was saying earlier about not being ready. When you saying that, for some reason, what popped into my head is everything I had been through up to this point. And I've been training and competing for maybe 7-8 years. But there's a lot of shit life-wise I went through during that time. And I keep thinking back and I'm like, I started making links like, okay, this fucked up because this happened, that happened, and because I met this person, that happened. I started fucking connecting the dots. Yeah. And I'm like, all this shit, every time I failed, every time I fucked up, every time I dated the wrong person, all that shit happened for a fucking reason. And I'm saying it because it's going to relate to this topic in this career. It's about to fucking hit a peak and something great's really going to happen because I've been through so much shit just learning how like socially and stuff that like I don't know, I just got a feeling that it's getting ready to come together and it's all going to make sense very soon. That I hit that point where I'm like, okay, fuck, I'm getting to the top now. This is why all this shit happens because now I have all this experience that's getting me up to this point. So when I look at goes back into the fucking mindset, right? I don't look back at all these things that happened to me and be like, I could have made it if this wouldn't happen. No, it's going to happen because all this shit happened and I learned from it. I moved forward and all that shit is like, you put it all in a pot and stir it up and something good's going to come out of it, I guess is the way to put it. So, since we've been doing this and since I've been reading the books thing, my perspective on life is starting to change. It's like all these fuck ups, all these bad things, all this shit happened for a fucking reason. It's about to hit its pinnacle here really goddamn soon. Like I'm confident as fuck to tell you that. I'm not guessing. So, for you guys out there that have the poor me bullshit fucking victim mentality, like this shit's happening for a fucking reason. So figure it out why. Take it with you. Move the fuck on. Because the quicker you do that, the quicker you're going to get up to the top.
The biggest changes I've made were letting go of things. People say, oh, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do a bodybuilding show. They're trying to do a bodybuilding show by adding it onto their life. And they're not letting go of other things. And I think that's where a lot of people fall off or they're afraid to really take things to the next level. And that's not just bodybuilding, but that's anything you do in life. We all have the same 24 hours, every single one of us. You're allotting time for family, a lot of time to work, time to train, time to diet. And sometimes I think your time overlaps. But I think that by cutting shit out has given me more ability to focus. So any changes I've made, all the positive changes I've made have evolved with letting go of so much of the drama. I let go of all drama. I don't have any. I have no drama in my life at all. Zero drama. I let go of anything that was holding me back. Any guilt people put on me. Any arrogant people call me arrogant. I let them all go. Let them. You can have whatever you think of me. I don't care. What else you think? Okay, I don't care. And I'm solely focused all my energy on my career, my relationship, and my competition. And you know what? I'm happy, significantly happy, more stressed out than I've ever had in my life because I have 19 weeks out until I compete against a fucking very well-known bodybuilder up and coming. I go to bed with a smile on my face because if I have too much on my plate, I just got myself a smaller plate, took what I needed and threw out the rest. That's how you're going to be successful in bodybuilding.
Yeah. I say some of that stuff you stated is probably some of my weaknesses, but like I've said before, for me to get around it, I have to kind of recalibrate myself. Okay, why am I here? Why am I doing this? It's not for this shit I'm getting butthurt about. That's not why I'm here. So I got to fucking look over here and forget about this shit. That's how I have to kind of coach myself, because I tend to hang on to shit, and I'm getting really better, a lot better letting it go. But I've noticed the one thing with me is I have to stay distracted. I'm gonna say stay distracted by staying focused, because meaning the goal I'm on, the path I'm on, that's what matters. So if something comes in, I stay on the path to distract myself from shit I don't need to be doing.
Idle time is a very dangerous time for bodybuilders and very dangerous time for successful people, because you get too much time to sit and think, and you start thinking of too much shit, and that shit comes with you at night when you're sleeping in your bed and you're trying to go to sleep, and that's when the fucking demons and shit come out of the closet. I think all of us have fucking skeletons. Every single one of us has skeletons, but we just don't tell people about them, because you don't want people to judge you. You don't want people to have your opinion on you. We all have skeletons, and sometimes those skeletons are what keep us going. And when I tell people that, like, when they read my book and they read the first 2 chapters, and they're like, man, that's what your childhood was like, yeah, but that's also what drives me in the gym too. That's also what makes me not want to be this type of person. It makes me want to be this kind of person. So I think we all have those skeletons. Those skeletons are they're what keep us up. That's what keeps me up at night sometimes, but they also what keep me going.
Funny you say that, because one of my reasons for taking some of the choices I made and not doing the usual going to college 9 to 5 is because everybody in my family either joined the military or they got a good job with a college degree, and they're doing that now for the rest of their life. And when I was very young, I still went that route, but I was like, I know this is not for me. But I know in order to get to where I have to be, I'm going to have to take some gambles, because my family's never gotten to that point. So they always preach the safe, which is, I completely understand. They want everything to be safe. They want everybody to have money and stuff. I get it. But I can do more than that if I just fucking gamble and fucking take chances.
Yeah. I
caught a lot of shit from my dad about it. He's kind of gotten over it. But every time I make a decision, he's like, God damn it, why you don't fucking do that? I'm like, I'm not happy. I'm fucking doing it. Get over it. I'm grown. And I understand he's like that because he loves me. I get it. But like, I look back and I'm like, man, I took so many fucking risks and had things perfect. And I was like, fuck it, I don't want it. When I had a good job or I was doing a good career here, and I was like, but this is not what I want to do. Fuck that, I'm going over here. Like, why would you do that? It's like, it's not what I want to do. I've always seen myself being greater, being bigger. I want to be the one in the family that fucking did more than everybody else. Not no crap on them. I mean, they've all got money. They do very well, but I want to do so. I want to do more. So that's one of the small driving forces that's kept me going too.
Yeah, and I actually had very similar experience with my dad. He wanted me to enjoy. He wanted to help me with college because he didn't think I had to get through it. But believe me, I got my bachelor's degree now, and he wanted me to join the Navy. And I remember him telling, "Oh, he's joined the Navy. Yeah, it's something. It's good. It's secure for him." And that was it. Security. Work, eat your meals, do it exactly what you're told, go to bed. Then just don't take any chances. And sadly, my whole side of my family is like that. There's no chances being taken. It's just go to work, go home, go to work. Don't get too risky. Don't take any big, because what if it doesn't work out? And that there is what stops so many fucking people. What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't win? You know what? You're probably not. But you better fucking bet on yourself. That's the mentality I'm going with. I'm going there expecting to win. Am I going to win? Probably not, but I'm expecting it. I'm expecting to win it at life. I'm expected to make it happen, and I'm going to train every day as if I'm going to win. So I think my mentality shift is significantly changing. That's why I'm excited to really read this new book tomorrow. I'm really excited to read Winning, because I think us as athletes, it's going to touch us in ways that, we finally were all going to be like, oh my God, that's it. Oh, it all makes sense now.
There's I took a couple years ago, I took a big risk. I changed gyms, and I could have fell under. I could have came crawling back because I didn't have anything, but it worked very well. And it's like, oh, okay, what can I do now? What can I risk this time? Like this, I start thinking like that. I'm like, I'll be here for a few years. What kind of stupid shit or what kind of risk am I going to take in a couple years from now? It's going to move me into a level up. And I'm on the verge of thinking of it right now. I've pretty much got my mind made up. I'm not going to say anything yet. And because that one time it worked, I'm like, okay, so this isn't bullshit. You got to come out of your comfort zone. You got to take a risk. Okay, well, I want to take more because fuck it. Well, I mean, I'm 37. Like, I've only got so much more time to do this shit.
Yeah.
So, and it can't get me any lower than I've been. I mean, I'm ready. I'm good. So,
and Rock Bottom has created the most champions. Rock Bottom has created the most fucking, best rappers. And I think we all have to experience that. And Napoleon Hill talks about that. He's talked about guys that were at the absolute bottom, and then right from there, boom, they bounce back up. Last year, my ex stole $10,000 from me, man. My credit score was under 500. So, now I'm got more money than I've made. I built a website out of it, and I've got my credit score fixed. So, your rock bottom is, and I wanted to quit. I tell you, Jed, I wanted to quit. I said, I'm just done with this shit, man. I'm tired of spending my money. I'm tired of, I don't know when I'm gonna compete again. I remember throwing my protein shaker down. I said, no, fuck this. It lasted about 20 minutes, but I was like, I'm done. I quit bodybuilding. I said, I'm just gonna live a regular, normal life. And then I realized, I said, what the fuck am I doing? I can get out of this.
There's one thing I'm going to put this out before we call it night, because I think a lot of people need to hear this. This also just hit my mind about how I rethink what I do now. I used to be bad for getting comfortable working. Like, okay, I'm doing enough now. I got money to pay bills. All right, I'm good. I'm going to take it easy. And I couldn't think in the terms of, okay, work harder, because I'm like, dude, fuck this. Now, if I start refocusing to, I want to be the best fucking trainer ever, or I want to be the best competitor, now I'm doing all those things, but to me, it's not longer work, because now I got a goal. So it's no longer train more people. It's like, no, how can I focus more on these people? How can I get better results? How can I get my name known more? And so now I'm working harder without the mindset of I'm pushing myself away. You see what I'm saying? I had to rethink how to do it. I'm doing the same shit that I would have been doing if I said work harder, but I reframed how to think about it.
So sometimes you're doing less is doing more.
Yeah, that's true.
Doing things the right way instead of doing things too much. Doing things the right way once instead of doing it the wrong way 5 times or overexerting yourself. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it as working harder. Like, I got to train people, and I got to post this, and then I got to fucking write an outline for this. It's like, no, I'm trying to be the baddest motherfucker when it comes to this field, and these are things I have to do to get there. And once I started thinking that way, everything got easier. It's no longer like, oh, I got to do this. It's like, fuck, I want to go get this done real quick. And I'm like getting into it, and I'm carrying a laptop with me. So every time I got a chance, I can sit down, open it up, and start looking at people's shit to get a head start. It's like, fuck, man, I used to put this shit off all the time, and I'm like not taking a lot of stuff for focus anymore. Like, I don't need it as much. So I'm just going on fucking hopes and goddamn dreams. And it's starting to work. And I'm like, shit, man, I just had to think of it differently. Like, used to be like, fuck, man, let's do this another time. 8:32. Now I'm like, no, I gotta get this done. This is my long day. Suck it the fuck up. Everybody likes this shit that's heard it. So fuck it. That's what we got to do. And it's not, it's one of those things I have to do to take that next step, because it's no longer about the work. It's about the next step.
Yeah. So it's about getting to the end result. Yeah. I'm excited for the day that we've got 10,000 viewers on here. You know what I mean? And that's what we're working towards. And viewers, we need your help. Like, share, subscribe, comment, please. And we're working towards getting this hopefully next year. Being in the thousands of people watching us every night, and hopefully becoming a fucking a bodybuilding motivation fucking podcast that people are like, dude, man, this has got me psyched. So, next week we have we have Larry coming on, who's a certified Napoleon Hill instructor. We're going to be talking about everything we talked about. He's going to be talking more in depth about, the steps to success by Napoleon Hill himself, which is rare. Rarely ever, I think, you see a certified Napoleon Hill instructor come on and talk about, the model for success. We had Akira come on, give his steps. Now we got Larry coming on, and then we're gonna have somebody else come on, and we're having these guys come on board. And I'm excited for what we do in this group, man. This is a small stepping stone of what's to come.
And what's really gonna be awesome is down the road, whether a year, 2 years from now, and people see what we're doing, and they go back to these, and they're like, fuck, these guys had this mentality before they even made it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, that's crazy. And now it's like living fucking proof. And I think that's why this is starting now instead of starting after you win these pro shows. And I do contests. It needs to start now. so people can see that this mentality, when we're at whatever starting point we're at when this starts, what it's going to lead to as we keep doing these episodes. Because you're going to see us change. You're going to see both of us progress. And we're not being cocky and shit. We're just projecting what the fuck's going to happen. And when you guys see these older episodes and see this shit, you're like, that's the attitude I got to have in order to get up there to where they're at.
Me and Jed sit here about 15 minutes before we come on, and we talk about what can we do next to get more subscribers, and what can we do next to get more of this out. And you know what? We're just like you guys. We're still trying to figure this shit out. Just like y'all are trying to figure out, hey, is this working? Is this working? Here, we're over here too. I'm not sure coding shit. We're still figuring out, is this working? How we can get this to work better? Is this working? Okay, what can we do next week to get this to work better? And you know, one day it's gonna fucking come, and it's gonna come slowly or it's gonna come fast, but it's gonna get there. So keep that mentality that even us, we're over here preaching, but we're doing, motherfucker. We're fucking doing, and that's what gets me pumped, is we're actually following the steps of what we need. We just need to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, we're not sitting on the couch all day waiting for 8:30 to come around and tell you guys some bullshit. Like, I am just getting back from work and hopping in here and doing this shit, telling you guys all the stuff, the mentality I've had because I've just got done doing all this shit. So it's you know, we take time out of our day and stuff to do this because we believe in it that much. And we know that, like I said, when people look back, they're gonna be like, fuck, man, I should have had the right mindset from the start. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a lot of people next week. So I'm friends with a lot of business oriented people. They're gonna want to hear this guy talk next week. So
okay, yeah.
Think about it. If you're not a bodybuilder or if you're not a business person, it's whether you're one or the other, the shit's still going to relate. So all you motherfuckers need to come tune in because everybody's going to get something out of it.
Yeah, and Larry's a very loud, exciting personality, man. You feel the energy when he talks. So this is gonna be a great opportunity. And Jed, I'll get with you after this on getting him in. So
okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. Sammy Stories, thanks for giving all the comments as usual.
Oh boy, Sammy fucking Stories.
And everybody else that joined in, appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week, next Thursday, 8:30.
Shoot.